Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'll show you how to prepare breadfruit. So this is my breadfruit. This is the dry one. You have to soak it for like 24 hours or maybe 6-7 hours, depends on how soft you want it, though it's not too soft. So I've soaked mine for like 24 hours. I've properly picked all the dirt out of it, so don't mind this black stuff you're seeing. Is the inner shaft, which is consumable, which is edible, so it's not bad if you see them in your breadfruit. So this is the ingredients I'm going to be using for this recipe. So I'm going to be using catfish, I'm going to be using my onions, my tomatoes, I'm going to be using my pepper, then I'm going to be using my no-kill Maggi, I'm going to be using potash, and my crayfish. So I know you guys will be feeling this breadfruit is much and the ingredients are not much. So breadfruit is naturally very sweet, so you don't need too much ingredients to prepare breadfruit. Most times I prepare breadfruit without even adding anything. Yes, I just add only crayfish and my breadfruit is good to go. So now mind you, when you are using potash, you have to use little quantity. So the essence of this potash is to soften your breadfruit so fast, because most times if you don't use potash to prepare your breadfruit, it takes like hours before your breadfruit gets ready to, like, before it gets ready. So it takes a long time before it gets ready. So the essence of the potash is to soften it faster, so within 30 minutes it's going to be softened up and you'll be ready to consume. So mind you, when you're using potash, don't use too much. So because if you are pregnant, you're expected mother, don't use much potash, because potash tends to wash your stomach. So I would advise you not to use much potash. Little of it is okay. So now let's get straight into the cooking. Okay, now I have my breadfruit in my pot, so I add enough water, because there's something about breadfruit. After preparing breadfruit, within few minutes it gets so thick, so that is why you need to add enough water, not too much though, so that it doesn't get too watering, but also you have to add water, moderate water, so that after it cools down everything will just thicken up and blend up. So that is the essence of adding water. But you can also prepare it without adding too much water if you want it very, very thick. So this is how I want to prepare my breadfruit. So I have to cover it up for it to boil for like few minutes, then afterwards I'll add my potash to it. Okay, now so this is my breadfruit. I've added my water to it, so you can add as much water as you can, but there's something about breadfruit is when it's fully prepared and you keep it down for like 5 minutes, so it has this tendency to thicken. So you don't have issues if the water is much, but don't add too much water so you don't get too watery. So now this is my potash. This is the quantity of potash I'm going to be using for this quantity of breadfruit. So I have to smash it, then after smashing it I'll sieve it, because there's something about potash, it has sand, a little bit of sand in beneath it, so you just have to make sure you sieve it very well before putting it inside your breadfruit, inside the pot. So now I'm going to sieve this. You can see it has sand beneath it. Like I said, if you are pregnant, I won't advise you to use potash, because it has tendency to wash your stomach, so which may have a side effect on your pregnancy. Well, I'm not a doctor, but it's advised not to take potash if you're pregnant. So now this is, so when I'm putting it, I have to make sure and I'll take little water to rinse it very well to make sure everything goes inside. So now this quantity of potash is okay for me. So what I need to do is I have to close it, to let it boil for like 5 minutes. Then while it's boiling, I'll prepare my other ingredients I'm going to add to it. So I'm going to cover this up. let it boil for like 5 minutes before I add other. So now I have my ingredients. I've nicely chopped my onions, my fresh pepper, my tomatoes, my crayfish. I didn't really blend it so much. I kind of like smash it to kind of make it a little bit soft. Then I have my smoked fish, everything all prepared. So I'm going to put them all in my pot of breadfruit. Then I have my salt and my non-cube Maggi. So now this is my breadfruit. So it's getting softer. So this is about 10 minutes boiling this stuff. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my oil, then add all my spice to it. So now getting ready. So now first I have to add my red oil. This is a quantity of red oil I'm going to add to it. Then I have to stir it very well. You can add as many as you can, but I don't like consuming much red oil, so that's why I'm not adding much. So mind you, this is how I'm preparing my breadfruit. So everybody have different ways they prepare their breadfruit. So this is my onions. Then I add my fish, my smoked fish. Then I add my fresh pepper, my tomatoes, then my crayfish, then I stir very well. Make sure they all mix up very well. So you can see the water is drying up, so I'll need to add more water because I don't want my breadfruit so thick. Then I have my no-cube. 2 is enough for me. Then I have my salt. Stir very well. So I have to leave it to let it boil for like 10 more minutes. So this is my breadfruit. So you can see it's getting thicker. So this is after 20 minutes of boiling it. So I have 10-15 more minutes to go before we get to the final results. The cover. So now my breadfruit, as well known as Ukwa, is ready. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.